I've grilled a lot of different meatloafs, but I don't know what to call this one, so it's Meatloaf Schmeatloaf. Yeah, I could pick a boring name like Mediterranean meatloaf because, it's got some of those Mediterranean flavors that we're going to be putting into it, but I don't know. Meatloaf Schmeatloaf sounds better to me. But before we get the meatloaf made, I want to get a sauce ready that's going to go with it. Now I'm starting with 16 ounces of Greek yogurt here. To this I'm going to add a 1/4 teaspoon of kosher salt, 1/2 teaspoon of coarsely ground black pepper, a tablespoon of mint leaves that have been roughly chopped, 2 teaspoons of minced garlic, a 1/4 cup of peeled diced cucumber, the zest of 1 small lemon, 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, and 2 teaspoons of olive oil. And we're going to mix this in my bowl that is too small. But that's my superpower. I can mix anything in a bowl that is too small. And it will almost never, well, actually almost every time, it'll spill out of it. But I'm going to try not to do that today. Get our yogurt sauce all mixed up. I guess we can call this a lemon garlic yogurt sauce or yogurt schmogurt sauce. Yogurt schmogurt sauce, I like that. Fits with our Meatloaf Schmeatloaf. Yogurt sauces are one of those very refreshing accompaniments to just about anything, especially chicken. I just think it's going to go really nice with this Mediterranean-inspired meatloaf. Let's get a little taste here, see if we need to adjust for anything. That's really nice. It has a nice little bright tart kick to it. All right, I'm going to cover this. It's going to go in the refrigerator. We're going to move on to getting our meatloaf ready. Now for our Meatloaf Schmeatloaf, we have a bunch of seasonings that are going in, and there are quite a few dry seasonings. So what I want to do first is just mix them together in this bowl rather than just dumping those on top of the meat and hoping that it all gets distributed. First up, 2 teaspoons of dried oregano, 2 teaspoons of crushed fennel seed, 2 teaspoons of dried rosemary that's been crushed, 1 tablespoon of kosher salt. That may sound like a lot, but we've got 4 pounds of ground beef. 1 teaspoon of allspice, 1 tablespoon of granulated garlic, 2 teaspoons of coarsely ground black pepper, 2 teaspoons of smoked paprika, 1 teaspoon of turmeric, and 1/2 teaspoon of pepper flakes. Gonna mix these together. All right, let's get this into our ground beef with our other ingredients. So in my adequately large mixing bowl here, I have 4 pounds of 80/20 ground beef. First ingredient is 1 onion that's been grated. And I drained most of the juice off of that. Next up, about 1 cup of parsley that's been roughly chopped. Then we've got our seasoning mixture. 2 eggs that have been beaten. And I'm going to start by adding about 1/2 cup of breadcrumbs. I can always add more. And we mix. Really make sure you have a good mixture here. Everything's distributed and incorporated. Feeling good, but I think it needs some more breadcrumbs. So I'm going to go with about another 1/2 cup. Really, that's by feel. Is it feeling too wet? I think that's looking pretty good. All right, let's go ahead and form our meatloaf. So I have my synthetic cutting board here that I'm going to form the meatloaf on, and then I'm going to transfer it from that to the grill pan. The reason I don't like to form it on the grill pan directly is because the grill pan has holes in it that allows grease to drip away, but if you're forming it on here, you're pressing it down, that meat can just kind of go through the holes. And I want to get this into a rough, traditional loaf shape. It is meatloaf after all. You want it to be roughly the same thickness from end to end. Let's transfer this to the grill pan. Now I'm going to top this with some goat cheese crumbles. You do not have to do this. You could use feta, you could use blue cheese crumbles, whatever. I just like the way it looks and tastes on this. So really I just take those crumbles and kind of arrange them on here. Maybe press them in a little bit. Now I'm going to pop this in the refrigerator for about a half an hour just so everything sort of sets together and firms up a bit. Then we will head out to the Weber Kettle and smoke this up. All right, the Weber Kettle is up to temp. My target today is 250 degrees. After we get our meatloaf on, we're going to be putting on some hickory for some smoke. Now, the ultimate internal temperature I'm going for in this meatloaf, I'm going to pull it at 153 degrees internal. There'll be some carryover that brings it a little bit above 155. The recommended temperature for ground meat is always 165, but you have to make the choice what temperature you like it at and go with that. For me, it's that 153, 155. So let's go ahead and get our meatloaf on. So I'm using the Mallory Firewall and the Mallory Cast Iron Grate today. Links for those are always in the video description. Make my temp probe in here, and I want to get it right into that center portion right there. Piece of hickory on here. All right, let's get the lid on, get smoking. We'll come back in about half an hour and give it a look. See you back here in a bit. All right, we've been going 30 minutes. I want to take a look at our meatloaf now and give a little bit of a barbecue sauce glaze to it. Looking good. Smells great. Now for the glaze, just use your favorite barbecue sauce. I'm going to use some of this orange bourbon barbecue sauce. I'm going to give it a gentle brushing here. Trying not to dislodge any of our goat cheese. It's just a little top layer of flavor. Get another piece of hickory in here. All right, we're going to get the lid on, and we'll come back when we hit 153 internal. All right, we just hit 153 internal. Temp of the kettle's been holding really steady. Let's go ahead and get our meatloaf off. That's a good looking meatloaf, and it smells great. Temp probe out. One of the things I really like about using this grill tray is you just lift the whole thing off of the grill. You can take care of getting the meatloaf off of it inside with some spatulas. Much easier. All right, I'm getting that inside. We're going to let it rest for about 10 minutes, then we will have a taste. Well, here is our Meatloaf Schmeatloaf. Really turned out nice. Total cook time was about 2.5 hours out on the kettle. And one of the things I want to mention about meatloaf, it is really a great first thing to smoke if you're just getting into that, whether you're using the Weber Kettle, an offset, or whatever. It's very forgiving. You go for the internal temperature you want, add some great seasonings, and it's going to be delicious. And smoking a meatloaf outside on one of my grills, that's my favorite way to make it. Now let's slice in, see how it looks. Oh, wow. That is juicy looking. Look at that. Just what I was hoping for. Let's move this over here and get a slice so we can plate it up and have a taste with some of our Yogurt Schmogurt Sauce. There is a Juice-alanche happening. All right, let's plate some up and have a taste. All right, let's get a little bit of our Yogurt Schmogurt Sauce on here. Totally unnecessary, but it's going to taste good. First, a little taste without any sauce on it. Cheers. That is darn good meatloaf. Great flavor in there from that large mix of herbs and spices. Really, really good. Now, let's get some with our Yogurt Schmogurt Sauce. Let's see. That just adds that nice, refreshing brightness to this. Again, totally unnecessary, but if you're someone who likes a good sauce to accompany some great meat, this is a perfect one to have with it.